One of Australia's greatest playwrights, David Williamson, is a master at painting word portraits of the middle-class Chardonnay sippers. From the election night canvas of Don's Party to his satire of shock jocks in Influence, Williamson captures the ethos of the cafe latte crowd who people our suburbs from Melbourne to Noosa. He has set the cat among the pigeons by staging the premiere of his latest play, Let the Sun Shine, at the Ensemble Theatre instead of the Sydney Theatre Company, where his works have been performed since the early 1980s. Why? Well, he doesn't do theatre with a capital T, according to him. I spoke to David Williamson earlier. David Williamson, welcome to Sunday Agenda.
Oh, it's glad to be here, Helen.
Oh, good. Now, should the artistic directors of the Sydney Theatre Company, Kate Blanchett and Andrew Upton, should they be very worried that you're taking your plays, the next 3 world premieres of your plays, to the Ensemble Theatre, as we understand?
Well, I'm not sure I've ever said that. No, look, Kate and Andrew are good friends. They've been terrific to Kristen and I. Kate launched Kristen's book the other day.
About you?
About me. There's no animosity, but you know, they're going in one theatrical direction, and I'm very happy at the Ensemble, which is a terrific theatre under Sandra Bates.
Why did you decide to go with the Ensemble? Is it a better fit for your plays?
Well, this year it was because Andrew and Kate very kindly did one of my old plays, The Removalists, to start their season, and they couldn't do 2 of mine in 1 year. But I've always liked working at the Ensemble, and I think Sandra's a terrific director who gets the best out of the cast, and I'm delighted with what she's done with Let the Sun Shine.
OK, well, you gave an interview to Fairfax Media, and which you've slightly backtracked from in a later letter to the editor, where you said you didn't do a theatre with a capital T, you didn't do dazzle theatre, and I guess you were clearly having a go at director Barrykoski, who does do big theatre, big pieces, and he's always criticised you for, I think he said, for doing theatre as it shouldn't be. Now, is there anything wrong with the theatre he does, the dazzle theatre?
No, I actually made that clear. That was something the SMH left out. I said dazzle theatre can be very exciting. I liked War of the Roses, which was certainly dazzling. Any theatre company has a right and should do some dazzle theatre. I was just saying, well, it's not me. I do family sagas and satirical comedy. And yeah, Barry over the years has been very, well, quite vicious towards me, and I've never replied. And I thought, oh, well, it's time. I'll have a go back at him. Which
well, that's fair enough.
Yeah, well, I don't regret. I mean, he's got an ego like you wouldn't believe, and occasionally someone should say, well, not
puncture it.
Yeah, well, not everyone in the world loves your theatre, Barry. At his best, he's a very inventive director.
No, but the point still remains that the STC has made a lot of money out of your theatre. I think Influence, your play about your satire on shock jocks, earned them $1.7 million. And their audience, as they've admitted, does want to see your plays. Do you think they should be doing more of your plays?
Well, look, they're the artistic directors. They've come in with a mandate to change things, to do new things in new ways. And I've been a staple at the STC and been very happy to be a staple at the STC for many years. I happen to think creativity doesn't stop at 60 or 65, and 2 of my favourite films last year were by 80-year-old Clint Eastwood. So I like to think of myself as the Clint Eastwood of Australian theatre. I'm going to keep going. If they choose not to do my plays, that's fine. I'm very happy at the Ensemble or the Melbourne Theatre Company or wherever.
As much as you respect Kate Blanchett and Andrew Upton, you're saying they're taking things in a new direction. Do you think they're perhaps not giving audiences what they want, which may be more storytelling plays?
Well, this is always a conundrum for a theatre company or indeed any theatrical enterprise, whether you go for the cutting edge. In my opinion, the only thing the cutting edge cuts is revenue, but then again, it can be very exciting. And they may be...
Do you think they're not going enough for giving audiences what they want?
Well, time will tell. But certainly they've come in with a mandate for radical change, and they're going to pursue that mandate. And they were very civil to me about this. They didn't sort of just disregard me. They talked to me at some length about the new direction and why I probably wasn't part of that new direction, and so that's what artistic directors do. They decide which direction the theatre company is going in. Time will tell whether they've chosen the right path, but they're certainly going for what they feel is very exciting new theatre.
And you've accepted that?
Yes, I have, because I've always felt comfortable at the ensemble. It's a wonderful intimate theatre for my plays, and Sandra is a terrific director.
OK, well, you've just said that you want to be the Clint Eastwood of theatre. You're going to keep writing till they carry you out. You did announce your retirement on the opening night of Influence, I think it was. Why have you decided to either come back or keep writing plays at the tender age, can I say, of
67.
67.
Not quite Clint Eastwood territory yet,
no.
but look, it's because I really genuinely was sick. I had a heart rhythm problem. I was hospitalised half a dozen times. I had to get 300-volt zap at one stage to get my heart back to normal rhythm, and it was stress-related, and I'd had enough. It was a big ask to keep writing a hit every year, which I was lucky enough to do.
Extraordinary output, really.
Well, yeah, I love writing, you see. I really am a compulsive writer. I love getting something together that's going to connect with an audience. And lo and behold, they found a new drug and tested it out on me, and I've been fine for 3.5 years, not a quiver from the old ticker. So I felt alive and well again, and I love writing. So to my embarrassment, I'm fit again and I'm writing again. Well, not embarrassment, I love it, but I did announce, I didn't want to be at Nellie Melba, but when I announced that, I really thought, I can't do this anymore or I'll be dead.
Your new play, Let the Sun Shine, has gone back to being very close to home. In fact, a lot of it mirrors, as we understand, your life. You now have 10 grandchildren, and a lot of this play is about grandchildren and the episodes that come up about that with grandparents. But does the comedic aspect of theatre, for you, often lie in the very everyday things and family life?
Oh, yes. Look, I love reporting close to truth. And I think that's why audiences have always gone to my plays. They know they're seeing a fair representation of reality out there. And in this case, it's a sort of a rerun of Romeo and Juliet with the Capulets and the Montagues, the two families hating each other. And then they have to coexist when the kids get together. And our young Romeo and Juliet are just sensational actors. So it's, yeah, I think I've always liked to be very close to real life. And I've always liked satire. And if I put a character that's a little bit like myself in the play, he's always a dill. I mean, I'm fairly hard on myself as well as other people.
So you poke fun at yourself, you poke fun at the type of people that you may have met on the Sunshine Coast, that it's set partly in Noosa, and at the change that's happened to Noosa since you remember it, probably in the late 60s or early 70s, and what it's become now. You poke fun at all that?
I do. Well, that's what a satirist does. My wife says we better sell our house immediately in Noosa, but Noosa has become very chic, whereas when we went up there in the early 70s, it wasn't quite a fishing village, but it was very bucolic and lovely, and no place as lovely as that is going to remain that way. But to its credit, it has stopped excessive development, such as Gold Coast. It's still a very pretty place.
One of the wonderful lines that you had from Don's Party, set in 1969, was it was overheard at a cocktail party. There's one reason and one reason alone why you're moving from a $30,000 house, and that is status, S-T-A-T-U-S. Now, that was 1969. Do you still hear Australians saying lines like that then you grab and put into your work?
Look, I never consciously go around with a notebook writing down lines, but there must be something in my unconscious that lodges those lines there, because when I start to write, lines come out that people instantly recognise. It's just something I've always been able to do, luckily, but I don't consciously set about with a notebook.
Now, it should be an interesting time for you at the Sydney Writers' Festival, because in one session you'll be talking about your biography, whose author just happens to be your wife, and in another session you'll be discussing your great body of work with Andrew Upton. So a very interesting Writers' Festival.
It should be fun. I don't think... Look, Kate and Andrew were terribly civil to me, you know. in telling me about the future directions of their theatre. They were, I mean, they couldn't have been more considerate. So I don't anticipate that. I think our friendship will survive the Sydney Morning Herald rather exaggerated piece the other day.
Well, we're terribly pleased that you came in and set the record straight and chatted to us. Good luck with Let the Sun Shine. David Williamson, thank you.
Thanks very much, Helen.